Now, not only do we have a global cast, we also have a global group of playwrights tonight. You may be wondering who the playwrights are. Well, we don't know. They're kept anonymous until the end of tomorrow night. Even our fabulous judging panel, made up of Mel Grindell, David Campbell and Bethany Rogers, they selected the 9 finalists, they didn't know who the playwrights were either, from a pool of plays from all over the world. We do know a few things about them. We know that there's one of the writers is from New Hampshire in the States. We have someone from Bristol, someone down the road in Bath, and another one from Gloucester, one from Auckland, and there's even one from Queenstown. Ooh, wonder who that is. So, one of the playwrights tonight actually has got 2 plays in tonight, so that's it'll be interesting to see if you can pick which 2 plays are written by the same person. We have one playwright has a master's in script writing, so very qualified. One is a writer who enjoys writing comedies about serious themes because they believe we are more open to learning when we laugh. It's probably very true. Collectively, these playwrights have had plays produced all over the world: London, Dubai, New York, Canada, Australia and New Zealand. So even though it's such a big global event, it's great that we can bring it to really tiny venues like Alec, and it's wonderful. So, now, on to our next play. As you know, we are obviously all living in COVID times, and sadly, we've had a 66% of the next cast that were in this play are currently isolating. But however, all is not lost, because we have stepping in to read for Marion Low, who's listed in your program. We have the fabulous Dukinfield. And subbing in for Sandra, we are very lucky to have the amazing Marion Low. Now, Marion actually also directed this play as well. She's going to read for Mrs. Crow tonight. So, many of you will know Marion. She's local, and I was fortunate enough to perform with her last year in Pint-Sized theatre production of Shorten Street the Musical. And Marion was in the heart of that incredible scene, where the whole ensemble is singing "Not Guatemala now, and she was giving birth live on stage. Actually, it's just one of the funniest moments I've ever had in shows was when we were spinning around in her hospital bed, and everyone's and the baby that was wedged between her ankles flew across the stage. I have to add, it wasn't a real baby. And Marion just carried on true professional, and the baby was delivered and raised Lion King style right at the end of the show. It was absolutely brilliant. And Danny and Marion are joined by the gorgeous Emily Durham, who also starred last year in Shorty Street as Nurse Jackie. So let's give a really big warm welcome to the 3rd play of the evening, Parent-Teacher Interviews.
Mrs. Crow! Oh, good. You're in the right place. Oh, come on, Barry.
I was just checking the sports trophy cabinet. Make sure there's enough room for Edward.
Can I help you? Diana and Barry Wilson, Edward's parents.
Here's my card. So shall we get started?
Started?
Yes, parent interviews.
Well...
Well, they are tonight, aren't they?
Yes, they are tonight, but,
You said they were tonight.
well, I just don't see you on the list, and we are quite full up. Well, I don't see anybody here now. Well, it is our scheduled dinner break.
Dinner break? No breaks in business.
So, of course, if you feel the need, you may eat during our appointment. 5:55. We have a function. Wilson. Ah, here we go. Right, so, at this school, we pay particular attention to all island students.
Well, at $10,000 a term, you'd hope so.
It ensures a smoother transition. Now, as is Dean, this responsibility falls heavily upon me. I have been in touch with all of Edward's teachers, and I'm pleased to say that, on the whole, he's making a pleasant start. You used the word pleasing. Well, not excellent.
Or stand out.
Yes, stand out. Well, with all transitions, there's always room for improvement. Are you saying that there needs to be improvement in order for him to succeed? Well, yes. Oh, good. We couldn't agree more. Oh, really? Yes, absolutely. That's why we're here tonight. It is. Well, that's helpful. I could go through a few of the specific points. So Edward's English teacher would like him to... we're not here to talk about Edward.
No, it's the school we'd like to discuss.
At the school.
Yeah, some changes we want to make.
Barry, we agreed to call them suggestions. It sounds so much nicer that way. I don't understand. Well, as new parents to the school, you must see that we are in a prime position to see where the school might be, what was that word you used earlier, darling?
Lacking.
Lacking? I can assure you that this is. You yourself, just moments ago, said that there is always room for improvement. Yes, you're right. We should always be open to suggestion. Please, go ahead. Barry? List. All categorized for ease of reference. Mrs. Wilson, there are lots of changes on this list. Suggestions. It's very good to be Barry. Now, where shall we start? Oh, well, you mentioned English before, so let's start here. Halfway down on page 2. Thanks. Now, Edward isn't much of a reader. He has a novel study coming up, and there are audio versions, but we think that these should be compulsory and provided for.
Or movie version.
Yes, movie versions too. Now, moving on, same page, section 4, languages. Languages. We notice your school doesn't offer Latin. Well, very few schools do nowadays.
Oh, but it is the language of scholars.
Yes, it's very intellectual. Looks good on CVs. Latin would require... We wanted that. Latin would require a lot of reading, and you yourself said English not much of a reader.
Well, his tutor would help with that, you know. Find a spark there. Good, settled. Diane, you wanted to discuss uniform.
Oh, yes, I did. And you'll find that on page 1. Now, this is actually my biggest gripe. It's the new school policy regarding the school blazers and ties. They're not compulsory, except for formal events. The students find it more comfortable that way, especially in summer.
Well, we don't like it.
Pardon? It's just that it's not formal enough. It doesn't look nearly as prestigious.
Yes, and for 10,000 a term, we want to be able to see prestige.
And also we'd like the school to reconsider and soften the tone of the blues of the shirts. It looks a bit stark in photos. Perhaps more of a Tiffany blue. Tiffany blue. Yes, I think it would look a treat. Now, what else? Oh, yes, the geography trip. You have a problem with the geography trip? Well, it's just that Edward has been to those mountains twice.
Yes, we'd appreciate it if you took him somewhere else. We don't want him getting bored.
I'll see what I can do. Is that all?
No, not quite. No, we wanted to talk about group work. Diana.
Here's a list of all the student names in every class that we would like you to pair up with for group work. We would like to encourage the opportunity to connect with those parents, both personally and professionally. I don't know what to say. This is all just helpful. Yes, we know. What you are paying us for is to develop Edward into a conscientious citizen who will not only thrive, but also improve the world he lives in.
Yes, that's all a given, obviously.
No, unfortunately it is not. It takes work and a lot of it. But at this school, that's what we pride ourselves on. But this list! Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, I think it's time that I gave you your end-of-term school reports. Now, usually we send these out at the end of next week, but I think you would benefit from seeing it now.
End-of-school report? Diana?
And Barry Wilson. This isn't Edward's report.
No, it's not. It's yours.
I don't understand. We're not students.
At this school, we believe that success comes from a triangular relationship between the student, the teacher, and the parents. Now, of course, Edward will receive his own report at the end of term 2, but we always find it most helpful to start with the parents. So, shall we go through it? Let's start at the top. Communication. How do you think?
We are both great communicators.
Well, it says here, needs improvement. That can't be right.
Unfortunately, it is. Our records show that we have had to send all communication at least 3 times before gaining any form of response.
But you can't expect us to respond to every school email.
Unfortunately, that's school policy. To acknowledge receival.
Well, how are we meant to know?
Oh, well, it was in your welcome documents. In the school contract you signed, as well as reminders in the weekly newsletters. Perhaps something to work on?
Suppose we
Oh, good. Moving along, attendance at school events. How do we think we're going there?
It says here, it needs improvement.
very pleased. What would you consider school events?
Oh, where do I start? Athletics days, canteen roster, painting bees, fundraising committees. School events are all about building community, and you can't put a price on that.
Well, I suppose we could look at our schedules and move them around a little bit.
Oh, that would be an option.
Oh, hang on. We contributed to the school fair, remember?
Oh, yes, we did.
I'm glad you brought that up. Do you remember what you contributed?
Bags full. To start with, there were all those vinyl records. I remember them being on the list of requested items.
Yes, I were.
Yes, so that's what the book was up to, at least satisfactory a little
No,
participation.
unfortunately not.
Well, you want records, we gave you records. What else do you want?
Mr. Wilson, can I show you your donations?
What? Wait, did you say you still have them? But didn't they sell?
Sell? No. In fact, they've been cluttering my office for weeks. Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical.
Not popular?
No, not popular. David Hasselhoff, it's from Germany.
Isn't that...
Music? No. Doris Day Christmas specials, Oklahoma. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, we believe these weren't donations, but rather a clean out.
They were not!
no.
Well, maybe there might be a little cleaner. And it.
Maybe we can do better next time.
That's what I like to hear. I think that's quite enough for today. Receiving your first school report can be a little scary. But remember, it's there to help you grow. Now, in moving forward, I have prepared a few worksheets for you.
Homework?
No, not homework. Opportunities for growth. Good! Let's not forget, you have a function to get to. Yes, and you don't want to be late.
Yes.
Always lovely to meet new parents. And Mr. Wilson, tuck in your shirt. Much tired.
round of applause for Danny and Marion in particular, who only found out that they were going to be doing that play a couple of days ago. And when I said they were reading, did you notice? They didn't even have a script on stage. So give me another round of applause, please.